we will look at access to documents and information. Has addressing this previously unwieldy onboarding process been a core part of your workload?
In the private banking is a very strong challenge. So we have two ways to see the onboarding process, either as a compulsory regulatory issue, where you do it, because you're forced to, which is true. But you have a second way to do it, which is to make it an opportunity and to try to leverage on that moment, specific moment when you onboard a client, which must be in the private banking a magic moment, and where you and your client, the bank and the client, share information. These information are the beginning of the story of the client and the partnership inside the private banking. The more information we have about our client, the more our clients are willing to share with us, the more we understand their needs, the better we will serve them. The role of a private bank is definitely not to sell a product. And this is a switch that most of the private bank at that Société Générale Private Banking we've done a few years ago. Our job is to accompany our client over the long run through a different generation. And to do that, we must put a very strong emphasis. Technology is a great opportunity for us because it allows us to have information, to ask it and communicate with our client in a good way in order to have, knowledge that we didn't have in the past.
We have been storing records digitally for some time, I guess the challenge for us was how do we improve on what we've had before. I've been there for just over a year, and one of the issues we've seen is that although we were an early adopter, should we say, of certain digital aspects, we failed to enhance them and keep pace with them. So one of the things we are focusing on now is trying to pull all of those strands together and make it a more enriching experience for the investment manager, for the advisor. Because what we do know, one thing is that time is precious, and access to information in a timely fashion is critical in order to make that client experience better. One thing we're looking to improve is around the ongoing maintenance of data. There's one aspect is the onboarding of the client, which obviously is a micro moment, and as Nicolas mentioned, it's a magic moment to get off on the right foot, but it's the ongoing maintenance of data as well. And we are looking to introduce digital to help us perform that function in a more efficient way.
I think that is where access to information and co-creating that magic moment with the client, bringing them into that process, both digitally and in a human way, to make it feel as frictionless as possible, and to make them feel that they're not doing something for the fourth time, but they're doing something that they clearly see as adding value and is really they recognise, and we demonstrate to them that it is building that picture of a better understanding for us both, that we can then add better value. We all know what a challenge it can be when you're trying to get access to your bank through a mobile device. Then you get asked for a plethora of passwords, the third digit of a secret code number which you've long forgotten, or the second word of your previously recorded favourite film. Can biometrics put an end to all these problems? And how far are we, Gary, in that transition to fingerprint, voice and face recognition?
It will definitely be in the future how these things are done. I would say voice is starting to take root now in banking, particularly in retail banking, as will fingerprint, but it's not really prevalent at the moment. I mean, in our industry, I mean, what Nicolas said was beautiful, it's poetic, perfect, right? I mean, it should be a magic moment, right, when you're onboarding clients. It's more often than not a tragic moment. Our industry is so far behind, in terms of the way it uses paper forms and mailing stuff to people and all that kind of stuff. So I think what you're talking about there in terms of biometrics is absolutely where we're going to get to, but that is spaceman. to caveman stuff. I mean, there's a lot to, I mean, Amin said earlier, I can't remember the phrase you said, at the moment this is kind of a bit of an experiment at the moment. There's so much further to go in our industry. For sure it will go that way.